What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review a 2006 mixtape by Bone Crusher. Basically, this project is called Bad to the Bone, and it came out in the late spring of 2006. So the thing about this particular project is just the fact that there's kind of minimal information about it. It's kind of here and there as to to where it pops up with the information that's known about it. Wikipedia at least knew about this project, but places like the Internet Archive, some of those type places didn't have it as much. I don't know full blown if it was on DatPiff. Rate Your Music didn't know about it as full blown, so it's on discogs, I'd have to say, but it's just kind of here and there. It's just kind of pitches like that. Bone Crusher's full blown discography is kind of lesser known about, considering the fact that he was really, for the most part, to most casual folks, probably only seen as like a one-hit wonder, just mainly known for his hit single "Never Scared." As far as those pitches kind of happen, he's kind of like a pseudo Lil Jon, same type of loud pack kind of energy pitches like that, some hype kind of crunk to kind of get in between like Lil Jon, Lil Scrappy, some of those type folks, Young Bloods. As I'd say, it's a good concept behind that, but the thing about Bone Crusher is just the fact that he got burnt out rather quickly, more so than he probably should have. But I look after he did have an album in 2006, so he did pull like double duty in 2006. I want to say his 2006 album was called like Release the Beast or something like that. I'm going to get to some of those as far as those pitches going to happen. I'm also going to review Attention from 2003, which has like Never Scared on there and some of those type fairs. But yeah, I've at least talked with Jackal Goldkick and things like that about the fact that I just don't know why Bone Crusher never dropped another single off of Attention apart from like the hit single Never Scared. It just seemed like a pretty good pitch, just kind of out of nowhere, just some good noise and energy as far as those pitches going to happen, but he just never followed it up, and it kind of damaged him later. I mean, he at least managed to still have a career, but I just feel like some of these type products, it just feels like he didn't really get the casual following as far as that particular kind of happened, which kind of makes him more of an underwhelming artist. But this mixtape is definitely pretty sure it's going to get pretty close to like a classic score. It's definitely worth looking into. It's for folks who may not full blown know him. That's just kind of the concept. For the most part, it seems like nowadays he's mostly known for Never Scared as far as those pitches going to happen, but he does have a series of other hit projects. We're going to get to some of those down the road as far as those pitches going to happen, but I look after it. This is quality here, has plenty of good nightclub bounce. He's very, like I was saying, he's very similar to Lil Jon as far as that would particularly going to happen. He has a number of pretty good affluent guests on here, so he did have the budget as far as that particular kind of went. Bun B is on here, Chameleonaire is on here. Bun B's actually on here a couple of times. Khalees is on here. She does pretty good hook on here. Beanie Man, the reggaeton singer's on here. Field Mob is on here. Both of them are on here. Killer Mike's on here. Trick Daddy's on here. Stat Quo before like his Eminem Some Shady Days is on here. Like who else? Pimp C and Too Short are on here. And Young Bloods is on here. I want to say even some Lil Jon background vocals are on here. So it's just a bunch of folks. Even Shaquille O'Neal back when even the NBA star Shaquille O'Neal is on here a little bit, just within the tone when he would occasionally do rap songs as far as those pitches going to happen. So he's even on here. Dope enough pitch. But yeah, to basically say about this product, so there's 15 songs on this mixtape. Basically there's 19 songs on here, but minus like the 3 Bad to the Bone interludes and then the intro, it narrows it down to 15 songs. Out of those 15, I wound up recommending 12. So the only 3 songs I don't recommend is just the outro, Here I Come, Get Out My Way, and then basically like Wind Down Low. So basically Wind Down Low is just kind of a summary type one, which is it's not a bad pitch that's the summary song, but I just feel like the reggaeton type vibes of that particular song were just not nailed as well. It just felt like possible. I mean, I could kind of see within that aspect, but it just didn't seem as effectual that Bone Crusher attempted that particular one. It's just kind of one. Bone Crusher's just a little bit more loud packed just within the tones. It just didn't match up with like the dance hall type sound as far as that would kind of go. But it's a decent one if you do want some of that, but it just didn't really have as much of a congruent kind of mixture. It didn't have as much fleshed out kind of mixture, I'd have to say. Here I Come, Get Out My Way. It's a pretty nice plotting one. It's a good concept of like a relative concept just to have like some thunderous type sound. It's typical of like the Bruiser type sound that Bone Crusher does. It's a little bit more kind of like it has a little bit more of like a clumsier type execution behind it. It's a nice bruising type song to kind of get, but I question the ofteness of how many times I've listened to it. It is some decent kind of ghastly autumn music kind of get. It just has a little bit of shrillness towards it, but it's just within the tone behind it, kind of haphazard. But the outro just didn't really jump off the page. I feel like this probably should have just been a regular song, but it just was it didn't really have as much aesthetic to it in terms of like the tone behind what I was really looking for. It just kind of felt like I don't know, just between the song title being outro and just the overall aspect of like the execution of the production just did not have that much pizzazz towards it that I would have preferred towards it. So that's the kind of thing. But yeah, so that just me talking about the naysayings at the beginning does not detract from this overall mixtape. So I just would have to say this mixtape is going to get a 9.5 out of 10, all but on the cusp of getting a classic. And I would feel like if I was more on the fence or had a little bit more partialness towards Here I Come, Get Out the Way, it probably would get like a 9.75 or a 10 out of 10, but 9.5 is nothing to really shake a stick at. So so we'll get to some of these. So basically, one of the best songs out this particular mixtape is "Get Up On It," which has Chameleonaire on here. This is a real excellent club song. I'd have to say, just snaking, kind of extreme quality night flash of a song. I'd have to say both rappers shred this song pretty well. Bone Crusher has his good vocals and ad libs on this particular song. Just really nails it. It's like a hype two-step kind of get crunk song to kind of get here. So this is just a real pounding type one. Just really appreciate the appeal behind it. One of the best ones to really get tore up to. It's like crunk type music with like some southern flash and pizzazz that was kind of within the taste of what was going on in 2006. So Bone Crusher is pretty trendy despite the fact that he wasn't as full blown large as he was in 2003. I feel like he had plenty of hits around this time. He probably was a decent multimillionaire around this time. Maybe not 25 million, but at least 5, 6, 7 million, something like that, something within that range, 3 million, something like that. Just being able to make these particular budgeted songs, be able to have some of these hits. So it's just an excellent concept. This is a real highlighted one of the best songs off this particular project. Chameleonaire really nails this verse. VIP fight music is a pretty quality one as well. It's like a typical kind of crunk craziness, I would have to say. It's like from Bone. VIP fight music is like some typical kind of crunk craziness from Bone Crusher, I'd have to say. It reminds me definitely of Lil Jon, I'd have to say, in his 2003 album. So it's definitely pretty good pitch. It's standard type fare. Bone Crusher is definitely known for like these hype kind of get you rowdied up type songs as far as those pitches kind of happen. This real pulsating, kind of blood boiling type songs kind of get in particular. This is just one where Bone Crusher's kind of pissed off at the folks in VIP, which is an interesting pitch because most of the time people want to be in VIP. This is more for like folks on the dance floor who are like, fuck those people in VIP. As basically what he's saying is fuck the. I mean, it's not so much just jealous of like the richness, but this is the concept of him just saying fuck those dudes in VIP. I'm a real nigga. I'm down on the dance floor and pitches like that. As far as that kind of goes, just an interesting pitch to kind of get that one. Some rowdiness, just kind of get here to some loud pack. Set it off as pretty quality ones, like a stepping out kind of sports game energy, I'd have to say. It's like some outdoor kind of summer flair. I would definitely feel like good song to get torched and socialized to, I'd have to say about this one. The thing about this particular song, I've heard this production before. I want to say it was on the Drumline soundtrack. There's like a song that has like DMX and maybe Twist on there. There's like some sort of song. I don't remember what the full blown name of the song is. I don't know if it'd be in the connotation because I just don't full blown remember it. But it's a real kind of sports game. It's something where you'd hear a marching band and be at like a football game, something of that relative type tone as far as those pitches kind of happen. Just some good appeal. Kind of happens within that tone. Bump You is a pretty nice one as well. It's like a woozy kind of head trip kind of crunk hitter. I would definitely feel like it's like a mid-pace kind of craze about this particular song. It's a nice Lil Jon feels about this particular one. This has some typical kind of crunk on there. This one has some Lil Jon background vocals. It feels like Lil Jon should be on this project. He's not as much full-blown on here. There's a couple of songs, or there's at least a song with Young Bloods. I'll look that song up. Goodbye is like a song that's supposed to have Lil Jon on there, but it doesn't. But I want to say that it's Bump You instead that does, because he just does his yeah and okays on the song as far as he kind of gets. This is kind of the pitch behind it, but this has a real syrupy type beat. Probably another one of the best beats on this particular album is Bump You. I would definitely feel like this kind of, it's like Get Up On It, just the overall pizzazz about it, but it's just a little bit more hypnotic and dreary. I'd say this real head trip type one, just really smoke up to. Some excellent type fare. If you're looking for the Shaquille O'Neal song, Super Nigga is a pretty nice one for that relative pitch. It's just the drowsy kind of night. Super Nigga is the song that he's on. It's a pretty nice one for that pitch. It's like a drowsy kind of nightlife fun, I would definitely feel like about this one. It's like a Lil Jon kind of crunk feels about this one in particular. It's just calmer than usual for Bone Crusher, I'd have to say, but still pretty dope song. So there's some good overall tones as far as those pitches kind of relatively happen just within the aspect behind it. I just would look after it. There are some decent kind of drowsy ones on here. I feel like at least Super Nigga and Can't Get No Lower are some decent ones, but are like some shrill ones kind of get within that pitch. Some pretty quality ones kind of get here. I feel like the concept about this product is it reminds me of like some stuff to just have when you wake up amongst like the nightlife and just demon time. If you're waking up at like 8:30, 9:30 p.m. pitches like that, going straight to the nightclub, going out to get some supplies, pitches like that. It's just some excellent concepts kind of have for some of that night traverse and overall type flair. There's not really work shift songs on this particular project, but a lot of this is just some great relief just to kind of get rowdy and crunk. This is just basically like a mixtape version of something Lil Jon would do, just with like standard Bone Crusher kind of ad libs and just craziness. So he has a pretty thrilling personality, I'd say, and it shows on this particular project. He keeps you alive and moving. But a nice one on here would be Can't Get No Lower. This is like a drowsy kind of night cruise out creeper, I would feel like, about this one. It's like this song has hella knock, and it's a good get supplies kind of late fare kind of happier. If you're just picking up like some Crown Royals, some Swishers, getting some snacks, goodies, some of those type pitches, getting some Hostess snack cakes, some of those type fares. It's good, excellent concept. Kind of pick up some of that and just have some good times. Pimp C is on this song and Too Short's on this song, so it's just a good cruise out type one. Has a little bit more drawl. This kind of reminds me of like that song Grip in the Grain, some of those type tones. It's a real kind of sleepy type one, but it's just within the tone behind it. It's not really as thunderous and quite as shrill as like songs like Walk That Walk, Get Up On It, and VIP Fight Music, and some of those type of ones. There's another one on here with songs like It's On, some of those type of ones just within that pitch. I mean, for the most part, Bone Crusher is basically in the club, and just for the most part, this particular product is just amidst like the nightlife pretty sheerly. I'd have to say it's just the concept. It just has different moods for it, but some of this is a little bit drowsy, as if you just woke up. I'd have to say. Good enough tone. There's definitely some pretty shrill ones, I'd have to say. Goodbye is a pretty quality one as well. There's like a pounding take some bar shots type tune to kind of get here. It's like a get loud kind of hella crunk fun to kind of have within this one. It's like a dance craze kind of blitz about this particular song. Yeah, Goodbye is like a vanilla kind of get tore up type song and kind of get here. Just a real nice stock type one to kind of have just within the tone, especially for this being a mixtape. This the quality behind this mixtape is pretty blistering. I have to say, just excellent type of appeal. And then another quality one on here would be Gangster Ballers. Pretty nice one as well. It's like an in-between kind of night glitz of a song. I would definitely feel like definitely a good song to ham it up and smoke good just within those tones, I'd have to say. It's a more brewing type song, but it's not a rager as much, I'd have to say, but it is pretty hot beat and overall just pace about it. So it's just an excellent concept for this. It's kind of like some decent crunk on here, just a tense type song, and kind of get this one that has you a little bit jivey just within the tone, but not as much full blown on the dance floor, just really getting crazy pitches like that. Not as much of like shots pounding, but just some definite kind of energy, just kind of more like 8:39 p.m. energy, where it's not the crest of the night, but getting pretty close just within that tone. Another dope one on here would be Deep Tonight. It's like a tittering kind of late hours creeping of a song. I would definitely feel like this like some local step out, get some swishers, kind of smoke while walking home, calm, eat some pitches like that. I'd have to say some of those type pitches. It's excellent type tone just within that flair, just some pizzazz, smoking in the backyard, some of that type pitch to kind of get. The thing about this particular song is just the fact that it's really just field mob on this particular song. Bone Crusher just helps out with like the chorus. It's too bad that Bone Crusher didn't drop a verse with field mob, just because for the most part field mob was kind of here and there with their popularity. I do like the concept of seeing field mob on songs, but they just don't commonly pop up as much. Kind of makes me question where they went as full blown. I'd have to say whether or not they're just working at like, I don't know if they'd be working at like Home Depot or Target, but just the concept of where they particularly kind of went nowadays as far as those pitches kind of happen. But I look after it, just a good tone to kind of get this here. It's just a pretty riled type one. Just some midnight creep in as far as those pitches kind of happen. It's an excellent type tone to kind of get that. Deep Tonight goes pretty well with Walk That Walk, I'd have to say. And this is a pretty nice one as well. Walk That Walk is a quality one. It's like a pounding kind of night venue, sauntering energy. I would feel like just woke up around 9 p.m., something like that. Just get tore up kind of glitz. This is like the better variation of the way that Here I Come, Get Out My Way kind of was. It's like a pounding type one as well within that same pitch as Here I Come, but this has a more this kind of creeping type production just nails it particularly better as far as that shrill kind of bite kind of goes along with it. But I would definitely feel like, I mean, for the most part, I do feel like Here I Come, Get Out My Way is a listenable song. It's not within the tone that it's just, oh, this is like a bunk song. This is something that's going to make you delete the mixtape, something like that. So I look after almost every song on this mixtape has a sheer quality. It's pretty much, might as well be a 10 out of 10 in terms of that. But Walk That Walk's definitely a highlighted one. Throw It Up is another blitzing type one to kind of get here. There's like a lumbering kind of feeling hella good, bar hop and venue fun to kind of get about this one. It's like a stock night out, and it's a good song to dance up to as far as those pitches kind of happen. So this has Khalees on there. Yeah, it's just another stock type one. Goes pretty well with Walk That Walk, Here I Come, Get Out the Way. Definitely some of those type pitches. Just some of these pounding type ones. Just some good thunders type appeal. Just really the aspect. Getting loud, but it just, a lot of these are more noisemakers. I look within the tone. It's basically like Lil Jon, just a little bit more lumbering about it. I had to say just a little bit more just burrowing, kind of more thunderous, I'd have to say, within the appeal, where Lil Jon is just more crazed, kind of get raged, just kind of scream, more pitches like that. I feel like this a lot more kind of dance type energy, just more thump about it, just more pounders just within that tone behind it. It's just a little bit more powerhouse crunk, I'd have to say, within the tone behind it. Do appreciate these concepts. Trying to think of other songs I haven't talked about on here. I feel like It's On is like an entry kind of vanilla crunk music. I would definitely feel like it's like a night venue gem, I'd have to say. A pretty good loud pack for that, but it's kind of a basic rage. It's some good loud pack, but it's kind of a basic rage type song to kind of get. Not quite as full blown blistering, just a little bit more just effectual, just kind of ambient, a little bit ambient crunk as far as those pitches can happen. Do like the tone behind it, but this is a good song to get dapped to. Just kind of kick back, just enjoy the time as far as that pitch kind of goes. Fraternize, some homies music. Posse song has Trick Daddy on here and Killer Mike. Pretty good pitch to kind of get those folks as far as that particular kind of happens. Good that Killer Mike showed up on another Bone Crusher song after Nev was scared, so it's a good dope concept for that. That's what I have to say. But yeah, I think I covered every single song on here that I recommend as far as those pitches gonna happen. Yeah, I think this within that tone. So yeah, basically this mixtape gets a 9.5 out of 10. I just would have to say, just within the tone behind it, if I do wind up liking Here I Come, Get Out My Way Later, I would just adjust it to pretty much like a 10 out of 10. I just would have to say it's just within the constant 9.5, 10 out of 10. Either way, it's within a pretty blitzkrieg type score, just to say within it. The Soja score is definitely going to get a 10 out of 10 because there's just too many quality songs on here just to say. I mean, basically, it just is the sheerness of it. Just has to, it's a 10 out of 10 just within that tone. The aspect behind it, just blistering songs like Get Up On It, Bump You, some of those type ones, the pounding ones like Walk That Walk, Throw It Up, some of those type of pitches, the sports game kind of outings like Set It Off, and some good on the dance floor type music like VIP fight music, and some good club rowdiness like Gangsta Ball or some of those type pitches, and plus some local night traverse like Deep Tonight, some of those particular type tones. So it's just plenty of good stuff to kind of get here. Some good dap songs like It's On, some of those type pitches. So it's just plenty of these particular type ones. It's plenty, just a real affable palette of like nightlife as far as those pitches going to happen. This really has that particular tone. I look over this crunk energy just within the tone behind it. Plenty of crunk as far as those pitches kind of happens. This night energy, just pitches like that get hella tore up. Just get loud like Lil Jon, some dance numbers. There's plenty of Lil Jon type moments on here. Get hella tore up, some dance numbers, some pitches like that. Just affable kind of demon time. Just woke up 8:39 p.m. pitches like that and just enjoy like the whole night. This is just a very classic mixtape. It's kind of, I would definitely say this mixtape is underrated as well, just within the tone behind it. It's a little bit trickier to find. It's not as commonly known about, but it's definitely worth investing in, especially for folks that may only know Bone Crusher for like a couple of songs. It's just kind of the concept. He's not as talked about in today's times, especially 20 years past like his prime years as far as those pitches can happen. But I just would have to say it's worth digging up and fucking with a lot of these, because a lot of these are pretty good gems. So I'd say, so in terms of the future, I'm not really sure what Bone Crusher's been up to. He seems more of like a product of like the 2000s. Unfortunately, I'd have to say, if I look after it just within the pitch, there are at least mixtapes up to at least 2009. So there are some more projects to get to. I want to say he dropped an album in 2000. He dropped an album. I want to say apart from his 2003 and 2006 albums, he dropped at least an album in 2009 or some pitches like that. He has other projects out there. I'll have to get towards it, but the official discography is kind of scattershot in terms of the information. We'll get to some of these, but yeah, this is basically classic mixtape here. Southern Fried type mixtape has plenty of nightlife and overall glitz just to have just within the sheer blisteringness, and he's just like a hype version of Lil Jon, just more thunderous and just has that poundingness that just has a lot of good appeal.